I want Justin Fields. That's where I'm at. February 2nd, 2024. That's what I want. I want Fields to be their quarterback. The draft pick guys do not do anything for me. The top 3 guys that Ray rattled off will all be long gone by the time the Steelers pick. Nix is too old. Penix gets hurt too much. I'm not really interested in those guys. I don't trust the Steelers to draft like the next Brock Purdy or somebody down the line and turn him into a good quarterback. The odds of that happening are already stacked against you. It's a low probability outcome to think you're going to take someone in the 4th, 5th, 6th round like Tom Brady and turn him into a star. PFF said today, Steelers a landing spot for Kirk Cousins. I don't want to pay $40 million a year for a quarterback. I don't want to bank on Ryan Tannehill at 36 being like a Kurt Warner or Carson Palmer. He sucked last year. I don't think abracadabra, he's in the Arthur Smith offense and he's fixed. And even if he goes back to what he was a few years ago, that doesn't really excite me. I don't think that they're going to I still think there's a pretty firm ceiling on the Steelers if that's the guy they end up getting. And I'm very lukewarm on Kenny Pickett. I'm just really troubled by what I saw this year, albeit in the Matt Canada offense, and how he comes out of that. I think there might be permanent damage that was done to him. So that's how I get to Fields. I think he's a fit in terms of the way he wants to play and how he plays, what Mike Tomlin likes, and what Arthur Smith wants. I heard 3rd round pick for him. 3rd round pick. Maybe there's conditions on it that make it a 2nd round pick. Let's go. I understand the last time you tried to go for a reclamation project from the Bears quarterback, you pulled out Mitch Trubisky. He tried to ruin your season this year. So you don't have a lot of luck going to Chicago and trying to mine that franchise for quarterbacks. But I think Fields is more talented than Trubisky, especially with his legs. Especially in that regard. He's somebody, if you have Fields on your team, he's somebody that defenses at least have to spend the week game planning for, scheming for, and worrying about. Because he does something as well as anybody but Lamar Jackson in this league. And the acquisition cost is not that expensive. So that's where I'm at, Chris.
Can't really poke holes in it because what they have right now isn't good enough. What they have right now I don't think will ever be good enough, that being Pickett. And what is out there is underwhelming. Like, I would take maybe a flyer on a guy in the 4th or 5th round who's primarily being drafted to be the backup, like a long-term backup maybe, or somebody you're willing to like put in a lottery ticket on because you like 1 or 2 of his attributes and you at least want to see where it goes. Like, it might be worth it at that point. But in terms of guys who are realistic for acquisition costs and everything else, Fields is the only one where I feel like there isn't a ceiling that we already know about. I think there's a ceiling on Kenny, even if he turns into like a good quarterback or a better quarterback than he was. I don't think he's ever going to be better than Ryan Tannehill was in 2019 and 2020. And if you think Ryan Tannehill, even if he was that guy again somehow at 36, would have a ceiling on him, then you have to agree that Kenny would have a ceiling on him. Justin Fields is younger than Kenny Pickett. Justin Fields was in an offense that got the offensive coordinator fired in Chicago and surprisingly didn't get the head coach fired. And I think Justin Fields is at least somebody whose basic skill set intrigues me. I don't know if Justin Fields will ever play in this league as a guy who drops back straight 30 times a game and just tries to win from the pocket.
I don't want him to be.
But for the next 5 years of his life, he doesn't even have to try to be. He should be somebody on the move. He should be somebody stressing a defense. He should be somebody that adds one body to your running game and makes you tougher to defend. If you want to run a play-action-based, occasional deep shot-taking system, Justin Fields is a pretty damn good option. We know Mike Tomlin loves him.
Yep.
I would imagine that because Andy Weidel and Omar Khan have eyes and understand like what the rest of this year's realistic quarterback class that they'd have access to looks like, they'd like him. And I bet Arthur Smith would probably like having Justin Fields. There aren't honestly many people, despite his overall lack of success in Chicago passing the football in the traditional sense 3 years in, there aren't many people who I think would look at him and say, that guy's done. As an NFL starter, that guy can't be reclaimed. I think that's a fundamental difference between him and between a guy like Pickett, quite honestly.
I want Justin Fields. Do you agree with me? 412-928-9370. The guys that are at the Senior Bowl who are other options for the Steelers in the draft do not do anything for me. I also don't want to just run it back with the guys they have. And some of the other free agent and trade options are not awe-inspiring to me.